Welcome into the GASO cast. I'm your host, Ryan Massad. This is season 4, episode 16, GASO, Risers in the GASO 2026 rankings. But before we get started, a word from our sponsor, Clutch Shots AI. This episode is brought to you by Clutch Shots AI, the first ever smart highlight creator. Whether you're an athlete, proud parent, coach, or organization, Clutch Shots AI makes creating pro-quality sports highlights easy, fast, and unforgettable. With cutting-edge AI, you can capture, reframe, and share your best moments in seconds, all optimized for social media. Say goodbye to hours of editing and hello to instant eye-catching highlights. Ready to elevate your game? Download the Clutch Shots AI app today and revolutionize your highlights with a 2-week free trial. Moving into housekeeping, GASO Fast Break, subscribe now. GASO 2026 rankings drop next week on the Fast Break. We'll have a lot of stream stuff going on this week. We're moving countdown to playoffs, countdown to 26 rankings, countdown to the 27 rankings. A lot more to come on Fast Break. It's stream season, and our staff is going to be scouting games weekly. That's just what we do over here. The content will not slow. A cup of hoops with me and Blue on Thursdays. Join in, 10 minutes, real quick. It's fun session. And then Next Gen's coming March 2nd, 2025. 3 games, Tyler Relf session, Recruiting Simplified session. It is an elite event. Where we get to see the next generation of the Texas high school basketball. And then the GASO schedule's been out. Make sure that you know those dates. And when you're asking teams if they're coming to GASO, because you know what we're going to do. We're going to advocate for you. Lastly, make sure you're following us on Instagram and X and wherever else you get your content, YouTube. Go ahead and do that. So let's tip this thing off with a roundtable discussion. Things get tighter during district. What's some advice that you are going to give to players for the second half of district? Michael.
Yeah, for me, naturally, you're going to get scouted more. Things get tighter. And when you get scouted more, that means they're going to take away what you do best. So my biggest advice, and it's crazy for me to even talk like this because it just feels so nerdy to say, but play out of triple threat more, play off 2 feet more. Because a lot of times what ends up happening is you're going to think that the play you run in practice is going to be wide open. All of a sudden, you're going to have to pivot and be able to do other things. And be able to play out a triple threat will allow you to make better decisions playing off 2 feet. You know, if you drive baseline and all of a sudden they know you're going baseline and they're going to cut you off, they're playing off 2 feet, and just preparing to be uncomfortable in those situations will allow you to navigate out of plan B and plan C more when they're taking away what you do really well. And going forward, I'm going to talk about crazier things because that's so nerdy of me.
Get your guard hand up when you dribble too. That, it's got to happen. Lyndon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, looking at this from a coaching perspective, the second round of district is where the most adjustments get made, I feel like. So you got to expect that. You expect a curveball being thrown your way. Last year, I was in a district playoff race, and so we're looking at, can we change how we defend the post? Can we deny guys on the catch? Can we change how we guard ball screens, stuff like that? Something's going to change. If you really got to it and did something well the first time around when you played the team, that's probably not going to be there the second time. So just expect that, roll with it, and be prepared to adjust on the fly, because that's what we're looking for is how do you, if your plan A isn't there, how do you take plan B, C, D, et cetera, and really make your money from that?
Mine is in the same vein. This is the most realistic experience you will get at playing at the next level. You're going to be fully scouted. Your strengths are known, and you will still be expected to produce night in and night out. If your averages, points, rebounds, assists, whatever they are, if they're going up in the second half of district, you're probably a pretty special player. So it's fun to kind of watch, the second half of district unfold. It was always obviously it felt like the most important, heavy part of the season, making your push into the playoffs. Blue, why don't you wrap this up for us?
Yeah, and I think that we all agree here, especially Coach Cook, is that you have to trust everybody, trust your team, trust your coach. Go out there with a sense of urgency. I mean, you got to go every single play and just go play hard to go make something happen. And I think that being a leader is very crucial during this time. And also, I mean, the end is near. I mean, we were talking about this earlier in our meeting. I mean, we got 3 weeks or so before playoffs even start. And so it's going to take some film sessions, some adjustments, like like Lyndon just talked about, and just being able to go out there and trust your teammates that when you pitch the ball to them, that you're going to be in the right spots, that they're going to be in the right places, and go forward. I'll stop
Just
calling
call
him
him coach. Call him Coach Cook the rest of the GASO cast is forever.
He kind of just fits though.
I love
Coach
it.
Cook.
Let's do it. Shameless plug here. Let's talk a little GASO. Why should people come to the GASO, Mike?
I mean, very simple. Like, we cover the whole state of Texas. Every time there's a GASO, it doesn't matter if we have the top shoe teams in the state. It just doesn't matter the weekend. Like, we find excitement in who's going to be at our event because we know every player. We get excited about every level of player. And the great thing about GASO is, obviously, Blue, you've been around a long time, and it works because we don't need a specific level of player or team to make the GASO experience a great experience. If you hoop, we're going to see you. We're not just going to ignore you because you're not a 5-star or a 4-star. We don't care about that. Like, every level of basketball player in Texas matters to us. And that's why it works, because we truly do get excited about every level of player. And we are on every court looking for that talent. So when you get a chance to show out at GASO, I feel like it goes further for your momentum.
Good call. Lyndon?
Yeah, and it's something that we've talked about a lot, is that GASO's not just a weekend. If you come to multiple GASOs, we are able to tell your story. We're able to advocate for you, because it's not just going to, we see you and you're a really good shooter, or you're a big who can play on the inside. We're able to see that progression and that development in your game in real time, which helps us advocate even more for you to the college coaches.
Yeah, from GASO season to high school season. I'll just continue with this narrative. We do this year round. I sent an email to the college coaches, to our subscribers specifically, called 24 Unsigned Seniors you need to get familiar with. And a lot of those guys, I saw first at the GASO, and I saw them play really well there. Or, that's just kind of where they started their momentum and their role. So, we do this year round, and as Lyndon mentioned, as Michael mentioned, we're not going in with a preconceived narrative, and we're just going to let the players play out, and then we're going to advocate for you. It's a very simple process. Blue, wrap it up.
Yeah, I think our experience, our years in the trenches, that speaks for itself. Reputation with the college coaches, with the high school coaches, with the summer coaches. I think all that just comes together from week to week, and be able to be good communicators with everybody, and listen to when they say, "Hey, I got a player over here. It might not be Division I, but can you come watch us?" We're going to go watch him. And I think that's just the kind of a little bit of the recipe here for us, is that we haven't changed. We've adapted. We haven't changed of who we are and what our perspective is for every player that comes through that door. And if you can play, we're going to be able to find you.
All right. 2026 rankings. Like I mentioned earlier, they drop next Friday. We are watching a lot of film. We are going to games. We are doing everything we can to turn over every stone. Who is a guy who you are going to be pushing hard for a rise in the next rendition of the GASO 26 rankings? Michael?
Yeah, for me, Taylor and Todd of San Antonio Brennan. Obviously, winning matters. So Brennan's winning a lot of basketball. So their players, I've talked about a ton of their players we have all year long. Like, each week it's somebody different, whether it's the Jacob Padillas of the world, Calgo, Isaiah Ward. Obviously, Kingston Fleming speaks for himself. But Taylor and Todd, winning matters, and they've had big performances on the big stage. And the thing about Taylor was kind of got hidden a little bit on that Puma 16U. So we didn't really get to see him as much this past summer, but he made a big jump very early at Hoop Fest in front of the whole country. And when you put on a performance like that with, how many threes was it, Lyndon? 9?
Eight or nine.
Eight or nine, yeah.
Yeah, like, they're playing in big-time basketball, and you're starting to see his confidence come out. And he's just a guy that's going to just have to take a jump up our rankings, just because if you close out poorly, he's shooting it. If you over close out, he's quick getting to the paint touches. He's one of the best paint touchers in the class. And that's not just to score, it's to kick out. Brennan has this great offensive flow and system with a lot of spacing, and Todd does a great job of just taking full advantage of every opportunity he has, and it's great to see.
Lyndon, you didn't steal mine, but when I saw it, I was like, man, that's a great one. Who's your guy?
Yeah, it's Jackson Thompson from Dallas Green Hill. I was courtside last Friday for St. Mark's against Green Hill in that rivalry game in a packed gym, great atmosphere, big time kind of game. And Jackson, I mean, when you talk about the levels of kids, he's starting to separate himself because not only does he have the shot making ability and the talent, but he plays so hard. He creates his own. He manufactures points for himself because of that hustle and the effort that he puts in. He's one of the most talented scorers in that class. He's got athleticism. He's smooth. But when you talk about a kid who just plays so hard, you know what you're going to expect from him game in and game out. And he goes out and delivers 32 in a rivalry game like that. It's one of those things that I think he's starting to move upwards towards the pinnacle of this class.
Yeah, and I would also just mention with Jackson, like I love how he plays two very distinct roles from summer to high school, and you get to see him succeed in both roles, which tells me a lot about him. That means he understands the game. He knows, with that JL3 team, sometimes there's so many guys on that team, he's just not the guy that night or that game, but he can still facilitate and get other people going. And then, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. No, I was saying with that JL3 team, he comes right off the bench, and the first thing you realize is that he's picked up 94 feet. So it doesn't matter if he's starting, like you show his impact right away, and like keep going off that, Mass, because you're right. Yeah. Playing two distinct roles is not everybody can do it.
Right, yeah. And it's great as an evaluator to see, because when a coach says, "Can he do this?" It's like, "Oh yeah, I saw him do that in the summer." Oh, but when he's on his high school team, he's going to be the guy that he gets on heaters real quick, and he's getting a lot of shots up and playing a different role. So I love the versatility that comes with that. I'm going to go with the guy. Jaden Buchanan, Austin St. Andrews, he's got a lot of tools that just make him next level ready. He's got great positional size, can handle the ball, can get downhill, finish, rebounds really well, can knock down a shot off the dribble or off the catch. This St. Andrews group was a really fun watch with Brandon Barker and Coleman Elkins. So, but I just wanted to point out Jaden specifically because he was not ranked last time, and he's going to be ranked, and in a good spot. He's a really, really talented player, and a guy that college coaches need to progress with rather quickly in the 26 class. Blue?
I think one of the players that I've really learned to appreciate is Silas Rodriguez, and especially after talking to Grant Long, he just really trusts. There's that word "trust" again that I used earlier. He really trusts Silas, and he trusts that he's going to go get some buckets, go get a rebound, do whatever it takes to go win a game. And I think that we're starting to really see that from him. I mean, he put up 22 the other night against Capel, and he's also getting rid of the ball too. He'll go get 4 or 5 assists. He'll go get some rebound. He'll push the ball. He'll play off the ball. Just a lot of the things that he does is going to translate to many levels. And so for him, that's a guy that we're going to talk about when we hit the rankings and moving him up.
And Denton Guyer, has there ever been a time Denton Guyer feels underrated? Because that's what they feel right now. Like they're ho-humming a really, really good district right now, and it's far from over. Don't get me wrong, but they're just piling up really quality wins over and over and over again, and that is a team that just is not getting enough, just shine for what they're doing, and that seems like a very scary proposition if you're going to have to face them in the playoffs, because they've seen it all, they've done it all, and they're just stacking up quality wins. So. And
I believe that they're going to small. They're going small 6A regardless, and so that's a team that's just going to sit back. And Grant, I've had a conversation, like I said, with Grant, and he's there's a lot of big opportunities ahead of them that you're sitting here saying that maybe they're not talked about as much, but I think
they're going to get every shot. But it's just I don't remember a time when Denton Guyer being as good as they are, wasn't being always talked about. And Silas is a big reason why, obviously. Let's move into GASO gossip, because that's Michael's baby. That is the most fun section, and I feel like I'm more annoying about it now. I'm firing off tweets to you guys all the time. It's seen this guy lately, seen this guy lately. Who's the GASO gossip performer of the day for y'all? Because it changes, man. It's really fun. Michael?
Yeah, for me, looking down at Atascocita, Zason Salanoa. Atascocita Summer Creeks turned into one of those fun matchups. You're oh, something special is going to happen down in Houston, and he has 23 points in that game. when you look at Atascocita, it's getting closer and closer. You know, it's snowing down in Houston, so that must mean playoffs are even closer than ever right now. But you look at their roster, and they can beat you in a lot of different ways. You get Cantave back, which is huge. You have Adam Boyd, you have Mason, you obviously have Fenner. But when I look at this Atascocita team, if they're going to play fast, you have Zayson's ability to stretch the floor, and his release is so quick. So they can grind away games physically on the defensive end. But if they play fast, it's going to be Zayson's ability to shoot the three ball that's going to really allow them to, match up with anybody in Texas at this point, because they can beat you in so many ways. But 23 points in a rivalry game versus Summer Creek, that's definitely my GASO gossip performer.
Love it. Lyndon?
Yeah, and just to go off Michael real quick, Zayson's rebounding and charge taking ability have been huge every time I've watched Atascocita this season. So, they're a team. They're just outside the top 10 in 6A, but like they're up there with the most talented.
They kind of feel a little like floating underneath the radar as well, of a team that's just like they can go toe to toe with anybody, anytime, anywhere.
I told y'all earlier. I talked about playing off triple threat and playing off 2 feet. I was not going to talk about rebounds and charges right this second. So I'm just talking about straight get to the bucket.
Yeah, but for me, my GASO gossip guy, somebody who set a state record last week, and that's Jack Kinder of Martins Mill, hit 569 threes in his career. So that is the new all-time leading three-point shot maker in Texas high school basketball, or at least Texas UIL high school basketball history.
Hold on.
Congratulations.
Let's do some math here. Do you know if he's been like a 4-year starter or a 3-year starter?
He's been on varsity before, yeah.
Okay. Well, so how many games do you think? Probably 110?
110, 120, somewhere in there, yeah.
So my guy's averaging about 5 threes a game for a career. Five makes for a game for a career. I love it.
We need to find out. There's got to be a game like he hit 15 or 16 in the game or something.
Oh, I'm sure that he's gone double digits before.
Okay, cool, man. Keep going. If that was it, but
yeah, no, that's just it's one of those things.
If that was it,
sorry.
Yeah, I can't top that.
Anything else? Anything else this guy's got? No,
sorry. I kind of cut him off through his thought.
No, you're good.
Because I wanted to think through how many threes is he making a game, not shooting a game, making a game.
Right.
That's wild. I would love to see the percentages of that as well. I'm going to go with Brody Thornton, Fort Bend Bush. They are on my list to watch before the rankings drop. This guy has been putting up some really big numbers: 21-5, 28. 8 rebounds, 6 blocks. He's kind of this tweener, plays on the wing, can guard big. They run that, pinwheel offense where he can catch it at the pinch and drive and go score. Brody's got a lot of game going, and I'm really excited to watch Fort Bend Bush next year. He's my. Sorry, I said next year, next week, whenever they come. I'm falling off the rails here. Blue wrap me up.
They've had 2 really good wins that they really needed, and I spoke about that district last week, and so they got 2 wins under their belt last week that they really needed to, I think, maybe push them in the second. But my guy that I'm keeping track of right now is Lucas Hobbin. Houston Straight Jesuit. They're 6-0 in district, 26A. They're sitting at about 18 wins on the season. Somebody alluded to earlier that there's no you're going to get scouted harder when you get, especially into the second half of district. Well, he was averaging 20 points a game for straight non-district, and when he gets to district play, he's still averaging 14 and rebounding 8. He's a double threat every time he steps out there onto the court, and so he's one of those guys that where he's the best player in their conference, in their district, that he's going out and proving it every night. Talking to Dominique Amorosa, the head coach there at Strake, and he's saying that everybody's trusting each other, that they're the guys that didn't have any experience now have the experience to continue to win, and Lucas is there being their leader and moving them forward. And I think I think we can also agree. He's one of those guys that are sitting at 6'7", maybe pushing 6'8", that once he gets to college, he's committed to Air Force. Once he gets there, he's going to be he's one of those guys that's going to be able to pick and pop, get out on the wing, hit some perimeter shots, and that's what wins you a lot of games at the college level, is being a bigger, stronger perimeter shooter.
Love it. Last segment here, recruit him. This is our favorite segment here at GASO because it just encompasses what we do, our knowledge, our depth, our width, our breadth of the state that we know, that we're just going to be pushing. So who is the guy for you this week, Michael, that you are going to be pushing?
Yeah, Christian Hodge of St. Francis. I sat with a college coach last week at a game, and I was like, what are you looking for right now at this point when you're looking for players? And he was like, culture guys, physicality. I need people to come in and make an instant impact. And he said not just an instant impact like in playing in games, but setting the tone on the first day of practice. So when you look at somebody like Christian Hodge, I mean, I could tell any college to go recruit this kid because I know what I'm getting out of him. At 6'3", he's physical, and he has the tools to immediately make an impact at the college level. And we're not talking like what I keep saying this. I'm not saying walk in and you're going to play 30 minutes a game, but he's going to bust somebody in the first 5 minutes of practice because that's just how he operates. His toughness, his approach to the game. He's just a versatile player that can play multiple positions. And this recruit him segment is like, at this point, like our credibility is on the line. So we're not just lying to guys or doing little favors. If we're going to go tell a college coach to recruit somebody, like this kid has to be special and have a lot of tools that can impact winning. And I think Christian Hodge has all the tools to impact that.
He's going to be that guy on the first day of practice, like 2 minutes in, is like on the floor and pissing off the upperclassmen, just setting the tone. I love it. That's a great call out, Michael. Lyndon, who's your guy?
Yeah, almost picked him for my 2026 riser because he was that good. But Cebu Sox of Coppell, in the summer, plays with a lot of talent. He can kind of get lost in the shuffle at times, but that's not the case at Coppell, where he's able to kind of, like we talked about earlier, show that second role that he's able to operate at, where he's, they look to him to be their leading scorer. They look to him to stir the drink on offense. And he was, getting to the rim. He's so physical, such a talented finisher. And when he's hitting the three, that's just different. He's able to get it done so many different ways, and he was really good. Had 34 in the game I watched last week against Hebron.
Love it. I'm gonna go with Nash Beard, Cy Falls. I like guys that are low maintenance. Like you impact the game without scoring, but when the ball does come to you, you're capable, and that's just what Nash does. He gets a lot done on the interior, and he made his free throws, and I think that's such a big indicator for bigs. Like if they're ever going to stretch their game out, if their shot looks good on their free throws, I am bullish on that guy. So maybe I'm wrong because I did see one game, but I think he was 4 for 4 in the free throw line. I just think he's an intriguing name from a program that's had their share of really good bigs, and he needs to be recruited. So Nash Beard, Cy Falls. Blue, wrap us up here.
He was good when we saw him, by the way. Just like the versatility, yeah. Down at the Cy Hoops Invitational, like he literally jumped a passing lane at half court, coast to coast for a dunk. I'm like, well, I liked your footwork a couple seconds ago, but now I'm seeing you do all this type of stuff. Yeah, very intriguing.
He's good, man. Yeah. That's Cy Falls. That district's like, oh my gosh, it's rough right now. But they're winning games. They're putting the win streak together. I know they just went to battle with Cy Creek, but it's fun. Blue.
Yeah, BJ Gill. I think that we've talked about him throughout the year of how quick he is on defense. Talking to college coaches, they always want a ball handler and a defender at the point guard position, and that's what BJ is. And he can also go do some scoring. He's in a very tough District 25A. Lyndon, you've touched upon that. They're sitting 4-2 in second place, but when you look at their schedule from top to bottom, they went out and they played Brennan and the Colony and everybody else that was thrown at them, and they he had a lot of challenges, and he proved that he can play versus anybody, and especially I think at the next level, he's going to get even better. And so, he's a guy that really just coaches just give him a call, start watching that film on him, because he might be a little bit smaller, but there's a lot of things that you're going to watch on film that just jump out and go, wow, that we could use a point guard like that.
Good call. That's going to do it for this GASO cast. We are rolling along. We are 3 weeks from the end of the season. We are on a full sprint. One thing I did forget to mention, we are going to run out the brackets, the free brackets on our GASO app. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and download that and get ready, because we'll have all the brackets, Division I, Division II, of every classification in Texas, and we'll be updating that. So high school coaches, if you are watching this, when you tag us, make sure you give us the determiner if you're Division I or Division II. That will be much appreciated. But we're trying to make this thing accurate, as easy for you guys to go see games as it possibly can be. And just know we are here for the state of Texas and the high school hoopers here trying to live out their dreams. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Team rankings tomorrow, Lyndon.
Oh, that's what I forgot. Yep.
Tomorrow team rankings, and then when are our 26s coming out again? Next week?
Next Friday.
Next Friday.
Don't lose people that don't know that they're in the rankings, because you're going to make us wake up and have a meeting when the chaos ensues tomorrow morning. So just win. All right. Stinking win.
Just win, baby.
We'll see y'all next time.